Yo! What up, everybody? Welcome into Giants Now by Chat Sports. I'm your host, Marshall Green, and we got a whole bunch of fun stuff to talk about. So let's get the bad stuff out of the way. The Giants lost to the Eagles. Their season is pretty much essentially over as they have been eliminated from playoff contention. So in year 2 of Brian Daboll and Joe Schoen, the Giants will finish outside of the playoff picture, which is going to bring a lot of questions to the forefront that Joe Schoen and Brian Daboll are going to have to answer this offseason. So in today's video, we're going to look ahead to the offseason. Right now, the Giants own the number 5 overall pick in the 2024 NFL Draft. So we did a mock draft. I did a mock draft. I sat in the chair of Mr. Joe Schoen and made the pick at number 5 for Big Blue. And then we're also going to take a look at the other part of the offseason, free agency. The Giants have 22 players that are going to be unrestricted free agents coming up in a couple of months. And I'm going to tell you which guys the Giants should bring back and which guys the Giants should let walk in free agency. Appreciate everybody for taking time out of their busy schedules during the holiday season to rock and roll with us. So if you're one of the 100 people watching right now, please hit that thumbs up icon. We would greatly, greatly appreciate it. My guy Mike G coming in with a $10 super chat. The best initials in the game. MG, what's good? Said, hope you had a good holiday, brother. I hope you had a good holiday. I hope everybody watching is still having a good holiday. Appreciate you guys. Says, if the Giants are at number 5 overall, which they are, they have a 78% chance to pick inside the top 5. Who do you want them to take? Quarterback? Wide receiver, O-line, never got that follow on Twitter. God, I am an asshole. I'm an asshole, Mike G. Mike, send me a DM on Twitter right now. That way I can do it right now. Mike, send me a DM right now. Like now, like not in a second. Right now, send me a DM on Twitter, and I'm going to follow you back. I got to do better about that stuff. I'm just a terrible person. Should have got coal in my stocking. Jesus. Mike, I don't want to tell you who I'm going to take because we have a mock draft coming up in 10 minutes, and we will answer that question in the mock draft. But what I will say is it is dependent who is on the board. It is dependent where the Giants pick. The highest they can get up in the NFL draft will be pick number 4. We'll show you how that can happen. Eli just messaged me on Twitter and said, you're amazing. Eli, you're amazing. I don't know what your Twitter, YouTube name is, but Eli, you're amazing. Mike G, I got my eyes on Twitter right now. So please send me a DM. Bush Kid says, Marsh, check your email. Oh, gosh, I got to check my email for Bush Kid. All right, let's do that. Mike, I will say this. I would be happy if a quarterback, a wide receiver, or an offensive lineman was taken for the New York Giants. I just want the best player available to be selected for the Giants. Look, there's a lot of holes on this team, right? The O-line's bad. You don't have a lot of playmakers. You need another quarterback unless you truly do believe that Daniel Jones is that guy. I don't think he is. Eli says, let's go Giants. My man, Mike G said, send you a DM, Marsh. I don't have a DM. That's the thing. I don't understand, Seeps. Said he sent me a DM. I don't have a DM.
Is it in like the...
I'm in the one where it's hidden.
Blocks it?
Brutal. What's your Twitter name, my man? What's your Twitter name? Because I got to follow my guy back. I don't understand why it's not showing me your thing. Your freaking name. I don't understand. I don't know what I'm doing wrong. But yeah, I'd be cool with any one of those 3. I'll tell you who I'd pick if the Giants were picking number 5 and the board fell a certain way coming up. But first, I got to tell you guys about our proud sponsor of today's show, Prize Picks. Go to prizepicks.com/CLNS and use the promo code CLNS, and Prize Picks will match your initial deposit up to $100. Prize Picks is the #1 way to play daily fantasy sports. And with a lot of people's fantasy seasons over, with it being championship week, now's the time to get into daily fantasy sports, especially with Prize Picks. And for week 17, I'm just going to go with a 2-player lineup. I feel pretty confident in this lineup I got rolling with right here. I'm going to go with more passing yards for Matthew Stafford as he will be facing our New York Football Giants. The Rams are heating up. Giants don't have anything to play for, and the Rams do. And I think Stafford has been pretty damn good this year. I think he's going to have a good game this Sunday. And I'm going to go with more passing yards for Jordan Love against the Minnesota Vikings. Patrick Seatman let me know Vikings are a little bit hurt, maybe playing a couple practice squad players in that game. So I'm going to go with the more on that. And I like the way Love played, accounted for 3 touchdowns last week in the win. So that's my lineup. You can roll with my picks, fade my picks, but just play Prize Picks with prizepicks.com/CLNS, promo code CLNS. What up, the Raging Bull, my man, with a $5 super chat. We appreciate it. It says, in Week 18, we're going to upset the Eagles and sing Cry, Eagles, Cry.
Week 18 could be live if Eagles, let's just say like they win the division, and then the Giants knock them off. And then we will see Nick Sirianni cry.
Yeah. Do you want to win Week 18?
True.
What if a loss guaranteed you pick 4 and a win puts you at pick 8? Is it worth the win?
Give me a loss.
I won't root for the Giants to lose. You guys saw me yesterday. I was rooting my butt off for the Giants to beat the Eagles. I hate the Eagles. Double-edged sword, right? I guess you're happy either way.
Yeah.
I think the Eagles are going to have something to play for in Week 18.
Definitely.
Week 18 might decide the NFC East. So, yeah, I mean, as much as I would like to sing Cry, Eagles, Cry, had the help of the refs to beat the Giants. Shout out to Raging Bull. Let's see what happens. Brazy says, Marsh, did you see the Giants sign Jack Offman? No, I didn't see that they signed Jack Offman. Send me a link to that. As Razor Shockwave coming in with a $5 super chat. Appreciate you for tuning in and showing love, my man. Hey, Marsh. Hope you had a good holiday. I did. I got to spend Christmas with Patrick Seatman. It was great. We got to watch the Giants give the Eagles a game. And all I told Seeps was just make it a game going into the second half. And it didn't look like that as they were down 20-3. But
a couple plays go their way. The Giants are coming out with a victory.
Yeah, no, I 100% agree. What do you think about getting Malik Neighbors in round 1 and getting J.J. McCarthy in round 2? I know you like him. I do like Malik Neighbors. I'm indifferent on J.J. McCarthy. Patrick Seatman is a huge J.J. McCarthy fan. Seeps, why should the Giants draft J.J. McCarthy in round 2 if he's there? Which you don't think he will be there?
I don't think he will be there.
You think he's a top 10 pick?
I don't know.
After you told me that. He's top 10.
If he wins a title,
he goes and wins a natty this year, is he?
He's 100% a top 10 pick. I think it's the intangibles with JJ. I think he's going to end up, he's going to interview really well with any single organization, but I'm a big fan of JJ. I think people are overreacting to his last couple of games. He's been dealing with an ankle sprain, and I don't know. I just think JJ McCarthy's that dude where he's not going to wow you with his overall arm talent, but he does throw a mean kind of that middle range ball. But I'm a fan of JJ. But JJ is not going to be he's not going to turn a franchise around. But JJ, if you put the right pieces around him, man, he could be great.
Who's your NFL comp for JJ McCarthy? Hey, Quagmire, I get it. You're blind, you're deaf, and you want to be a ref. You only got to say it one time, maybe 2 times, but don't ruin the experience for my guy Carl.
I think he's an athletic Brock Purdy.
Athletic Brock Purdy.
That's what I think he is.
Really?
I think if you put JJ in that Niners system, I think you could do the same thing, just even be a little bit better. Give him Malik Neighbors, though. You give him Wandale. Give him Hyatt. Give him Saquon. See, well, who would you rather go, Neighbors or Joe Alt in the first round? That could be a decision.
That's a decision we're about to make on the show coming up in a little bit.
We are.
Coming up in a little bit. Razor Shockwave, I would like Malik Neighbors. I think he reminds me a little bit of Stephon Diggs. I also think he's maybe a little bit better after the catch than Diggs is. He's a big-time player. Giants need more of those guys, so I'd be cool with that. I don't love J.J. McCarthy. I think he's going to be a good quarterback in this league. I kind of want to get the guy that is a blue-chip prospect.
Yeah.
J.J., 5-star, top 10 recruit coming out, went to a big-time high school. I just wonder if maybe I have my Big Ten Michigan blinders on and I'm letting the run-heavy, power-eye offense change my evaluation?
I just think if he was in a different system, people would look at him a whole lot differently. Like, he's just all he does is win in college. He's about to go to his third straight. I don't know. He's about to go to his third straight college football playoff. Also, fun fact: if he wins a national championship this year, he'll have the highest winning percentage out of any quarterback in college football history.
Wait, say that again?
If he wins a title this year and leaves, he'll have the highest winning percentage out of any starting quarterback in college football history, per James Yoder.
So that may just not be true.
No, that's 100% true.
Is it?
Yeah.
Is MG, is your Twitter M_GSKY10? Is that you? Are you M_GSKY10? Is that you, MG? Let me know. Because if so, I will follow you back. But I don't know if that's you or not because you don't have a profile picture. Let me know though. Razor, appreciate you. We're going to dive into our mock draft in a second. And I'll tell you who I think the Giants should take. As Parker Walters, my man, coming in with a $2 super chat. Parker, we appreciate you. Yesterday was brutal. Let's see where we go now. I'm going to be honest, Patrick Seaman. I don't think yesterday was brutal, and it was honestly the second most fun I've had watching this team all year long.
That was a win, in my opinion, because you got to see Eagles fans sweat. Eagles fans also, guys, they're the most insecure fans right now in the National Football League. It is hilarious. Marsh and I walking into work today, our Eagles guys, they're just puffing their chest out a little too much.
They are nervous. If you are an Eagles fan, you should be nervous.
You should be.
One of the Eagles fans asked me, dude, what's your beef with A.J. Brown? He's an Eagle.
He's an Eagle.
And he's soft, and he's a fake tough guy.
57, 53.
All those guys are losers. All of those guys are losers. Parker, the loss was rough because it was right in the grasp of the Giants. I truly thought after that Adoree Jackson pick six, the Giants were going to win that ball game. You hold them to a 3rd and 20, and then Jalen Hurts made a really good play. Contained the offensive line, completed a 27-yard comeback route to A.J. Brown to essentially put the nail in the coffin. And then you see a guy like the very next possession said Darius Slayton go for 70 yards, and you're right back in. I had a lot of fun yesterday. Also, shout out to everybody that tuned in. Christmas Day, you could have been doing anything. And you got a lot of you guys, 55,000 plus, hung out with us. So shout out to y'all. That's my guy Mike G back again with a $10 super chat. Mike says, another one. Do you buy into Bowers being a good fit? I know Waller isn't young, but still paying him a lot. Is tight end weapon worth it if worth it over other needs? I would not be upset at all if the Giants drafted Brock Bowers.
Okay, so I've been thinking about this. Tight ends don't really get paid too much in the grand scheme of things. Like overall their market. If you could get a blue chip tight end like a Kelsey or a Kittle, and that's what Bowers is, and eventually you only have to pay him $15, $20 mil following his rookie deal, I'm kind of all in on Bowers because also I'm seeing what Laporta has done for the Lions this year, and he is fantastic. He's completely changed that offense. I wouldn't hate them going there, but again,
are there other bigger needs?
Yes,
probably.
that's the thing.
But that's when you get a little bit tricky and it gets a little dicey when you start drafting off need. Well, Brock Bowers, if you've watched college football the last 3 years, maybe the best playmaker in college football the last 3 years. Does he play tight end? Yes. Is tight end one of the deeper position groups the Giants have? Yeah, but I'm not letting a 32, 33-year-old Darren Waller stop me from drafting potentially the next George Kittle. I like Waller. I think he's a good player. I think he is past his best ball is past him. I still think he could be productive, but I do believe that Brock Bowers may be one of the best tight ends in the NFL upon year 2 or 3 in this league. Giants need more playmakers, Seeps. He's a playmaker.
See, if he's on the big board, overall players, he's probably 4th for me.
Like strictly just football players, yeah.
2 quarterbacks, Marvin Harrison, then it's probably him. He's probably the 4th best player in the draft.
Look, I think he's really good. Look, let's say you beat the Eagles or Rams and you fall to pick 8. I wouldn't pick him inside the top 5, Mike. I wouldn't pick him inside the top 5, but if I'm picking inside the top 10 and he's the best playmaker on the board, let's say Neighbors is gone, Harrison Jr. is gone, shoot, maybe Keon Coleman is gone. I would take Bowers over Keon Coleman.
Easy.
But I think he's a good player. Giants see good players. I would not be mad if they took him. My guy, let's go Giants. What up, Brody? Says, do you think we will target T. Higgins, Josh Allen, maybe Chris Jones, or C.J. are, if I had to say which one of those guys I think the Giants will pursue the most, probably T. Higgins. I would probably have it in the order you have them. I would go actually T. Higgins, Josh Allen, C.J. Gardner-Johnson, then Chris Jones. In my opinion, that's who I think the Giants would target in order. I would go after T. Higgins. I would. I think he is a no doubt wide receiver one in this league.
Yep.
And I think the Giants need one of those guys. So, yeah, I'd be all in on that. It's going to be expensive. He may get $25 million a year. He might sign a 4-year, $100 million contract. But, see, that's what it costs to pay a big-time receiver.
Yeah.
Justin Jefferson may get 4 years, 120, 4 years, 140, 4 years, 130.
4 for 120 might be a steal.
Yeah.
Like,
look, Giants are like I was talking to my dad over the weekend as I got to go home, and he's a big Giants fan, obviously, as well. And we were talking about it. He was like, we've actually we just came to the agreement that we have become numb to how bad this offense is. Like, we think that some of the games Mike Kafka has called has been good, but in reality, we are the worst offense in the NFL by far.
Yeah.
By far, and you just need more talent. You just need more talent, and T. Higgins would absolutely be an upgrade. I would love Josh Allen on the other side of Kayvon Thibodeau, but you only have so many dollars to go around.
Yeah, I was going to say, I don't know if you want to pay for.
Yeah. Do I want to pay him? Because then I just paid Dexter Lawrence. Then you're going to have to pay Kayvon Thibodeau. Then you're going to have to, that's 3 guys all making $20 million. So I'd go after T. Higgins, but I do expect the Giants to pay someone in free agency a lot of money. My guy Razor Shockwave coming back again with a $5 super chat. My man, y'all guys are showing mad love today. Shout out to y'all. Says another for me also. Hey, as many as you guys want, we got it. Also, we get Jaden Daniels at the first round, then get a Brian Thomas Jr. or Xavier Leggett, whoever falls. Love you guys. Go Giants. Look, I am all in on drafting a guy like Jaden Daniels. We've said it a couple times. You hired Brian Dable because you thought he was an offensive guru, and I still do believe that. I'd rather give the chef elite steak to work with and tell him to make me a great meal out of that instead of me giving him some on sale New York strip that was $11 and saying, go make a filet mignon out of this. You have a coach that you believe that can make a quarterback special. We saw him do that with Josh Allen. You need to go out and give him a talented quarterback that he can work with. I think Jaden Daniels is that guy. Is there a risk involved? Absolutely. I'm kind of in on Jaden Daniels. I know Seeps is a little indifferent, but I think he's that guy.
It's just with him. It's just like,
no matter who the Giants draft, and if the Giants pick inside the top 10, and that guy's a bust, Joe Schoen and Brian Dable are on the hot seat.
I just really don't think they're going to draft one.
I don't think they're going to draft a quarterback either.
Because then what do you do? I mean, then it's just like Daniel Jones is not it. Like, you just punt on it. I mean, he did not look that good at the beginning of the year.
He did not. He did not. MG, if you're still watching, I don't know why I'm not getting your DM. Drop your Twitter in the chat. The @ with the name MG if you're still watching. I got to give you a follow back. And for some reason, I don't know if it's my Twitter's messing up, if I am being dumb and I don't know which one is yours, but I don't have a DM in the last hour. So let me know what it is. I don't know. Maybe just tweet at me or something. Maybe I'm just an idiot. I don't know. Coming up, though, we got a mailbag coming up in about 20, 30 minutes. So get your questions in. I want to answer questions about the offseason, free agent targets, trade targets, draft targets. Fire this guy, hire this guy, Mike Kafka, Wink Martindale. I will say this. I don't think the Giants are going to bring back Wink Martindale or Mike Kafka. I'll talk about that later in the week on the channel. That's my prediction. I'm expecting a new coordinator for offense and defense. My guy, let's go Giants, coming back with another $5 super chat. Shout out to you, homie. It says round 2 OT, Troy Fontenot, move him to guard. Round 2, Xavier Worthy, love Worthy. Round 3, edge, Princey Uman Milan. Round 4, Spencer James from All-American. James Williams. I'll tell you this much, Eli. I am not into second. I am not starting my draft prep on 3rd round, 4th round, 5th round, 6th round, and 7th round. So I'm not going to speak out of my ass to you because I have too much respect for you. I am totally in on drafting an offensive lineman with the first 3 picks. You get 2 second-rounders. I love Xavier Worthy, big-time player, explosive, can go the distance on any catch. To be honest with you, I don't really know who any of the other guys are. Do you know any of those guys yet?
No, I don't. I haven't really dove into like these late round guys yet.
Yeah, I've still been focused on the regular season.
Yeah. But
so
the only thing with Xavier Worthy, though, very similar to Hyatt and Robinson. So I don't know.
He's almost like a mix of Robinson and Hyatt.
Yeah, I just give me a Mike Evans, T. Higgins type of receiver.
Yeah.
Like they need that big
They
body.
need a 1. I don't know if Worthy's not a 1.
No, Keon Coleman, maybe he's that guy.
I'd take Neighbors. I'd take Neighbors. Quagmire, you keep on asking if the Giants can sign Stephon Diggs. Stephon Diggs is under contract. So, no, they can't sign him. I wish, though. That'd be pretty cool. But no, Stephon Diggs is not a free agent, and trading for him would cost the Giants a whole lot of money. And it would be a huge dead cap penalty for the Bills. I don't think Diggs is going anywhere. Hashtag Giants to get on the show. Super chats are guaranteed to skip the line. We're also up to $47 in super chats. If we get to $100 today, I'm doing a beer boot. We're 54 away. $54 away from a beer boot today. It's still the holiday season. So let's party.
Like the holidays.
MG, if you're watching, tweet me at Twitter. I don't know why it won't let me see your DM. So tweet me. But let's dive into it. Rob Simpy, you rock. We signed the ball. We dropped it off to UPS today. It should be coming in the mail pretty soon. Rob, you're a real one. We got to get into the start of today's show. So let's do it. Coming up on today's show, we are going to take a look at a first-round mock draft for the New York Football Giants. Following the loss to the Philadelphia Eagles, the Giants now own the number 5 pick in the NFL draft. Look, there's a lot of holes on this Giants roster. I ran through the PFF mock draft simulator, and I think I made a pick that a lot of Giants fans would like. Let's take a look at the full draft order when it comes to 1 through 10. Right now, the Chicago Bears own that first overall pick, and it's because of the Carolina Panthers. They made that trade last year to get inside the top 5, to get to number 1. So the Bears own the Carolina Panthers pick. The Cardinals, they sit at 3 and 12. Commanders sit at 4 and 11. With only 2 games remaining, and unless the Arizona Cardinals win these last 2 games, which I do not think they will, the Giants could get only as high as pick number 3. But you also got a couple other teams at 5 and 10. You got the Giants at 5 and 10, Chargers at 5 and 10, Titans at 5 and 10, and you got teams at 6 and 9. So we're going to be paying closely attention to, as Giants fans, to the New England Patriots and the Washington Commanders for the rest of the season. You want the Patriots to win a game. You want the Patriots to win at least one of these next 2 games. At the Buffalo Bills in Week 17 or potentially Week 18 against the New York Jets. I think they can win this game, and I'm hoping they will. That way the Giants can get up to pick number 4. Who do the Commanders got in the next 2 games? At the San Francisco 49ers and versus the LA Rams. Is that even? I may have messed that up. Let me double check on that. They got the San Francisco this week, and it's actually Dallas next week. So that's on me. It's at the San Francisco 49ers, and it's against the Dallas Cowboys. That's on me. That's how you catch a mistake. I don't see the Commanders beating the Niners, and I don't see the Commanders beating the Dallas Cowboys. This is the Cowboys, not the Rams. I have the Commanders winning the next 2 games, so I think the Giants could get up to pick number 4, and ESPN believes the Giants have a 72.8% chance of earning a top 5 pick. So more likely than not, the Giants are going to end up picking number 5. So let's run through the mock draft. First overall pick, the Chicago Bears. And Pro Football Focus had the Bears selecting Caleb Williams, and I think that is the pick that is going to happen. Whether that be the Bears at number 1 or somebody else at number 1, I believe Caleb Williams is going to go number 1 overall. I also think that number 2 could be the Arizona Cardinals, and it will most likely be Marvin Harrison Jr. unless the Cardinals trade out of that pick. This is where the mock draft simulator got a little bit wacky, but at the end of the day, it is the Washington Commanders, and I could see them doing something like this. Jaden Daniels goes number 3, the second QB off the board over Drake May, who wound it up going number 4 overall to the New England Patriots. So the top 3 quarterbacks are off the board in this situation. Caleb Williams gone. Jaden Daniels gone. Drake May is gone. Also, the best position player is gone. Really, probably the top 4 players on the Giants' big board are off the board right here. So if this were to be how the draft were to play out, Daniels off the board, Williams off the board, May off the board, as well as Marvin Harrison Jr., who would you select if you were Joe Schoen and the Giants? If all those players were gone, you're on the clock at number 5, who would you take in that situation? I'm going to give you my answer in a second, but I want to hear from you right now down in the comment section. With the 5th pick in the 2024 NFL mock draft, run by New York Giants Now, host Marshall Green, I am selecting Joe Alt. The offensive tackle out of Notre Dame. I think Joe Alt is the best offensive lineman in this class, and I believe he fixes and fills a huge need on this team. 6'8", 315 pounds. He's allowed 1 sack in the last 2 seasons. 1 sack in the last 2 seasons. If I did have a little bit of a concern, it would be that he's only played the left tackle position at Notre Dame, and he would have to switch to that right tackle position. Is that easy? No. But a guy like Joe Alt, who is athletic and big, I believe that he could get it done. Look at the numbers via Pro Football Focus of what he has done this past year for Notre Dame. Joe Alt is an exceptional offensive lineman. He's a good run blocker. He's a good pass blocker. I think he's a better pass blocker than run blocker, and the stats say that. Listen to this. He's allowed 3 sacks, 5 QB hits, and 15 QB hurries in over 1,100 snaps in 3 years at Notre Dame. Allowed just 1 sack this year, just 2 QB hits this year, 85 overall pluses at every single spot. Joe Alt fixes a huge need for this Giants team. Question is, would Joe Schoen be willing to pull the trigger after he just spent the number 7 overall pick on Evan Neal just 2 years ago? I'll tell you why the Giants should make this pick and what the Giants should do with Evan Neal coming up in a second. But first, I got to give a huge shout out to today's sponsor, Game Time. Game Time is the #1 ticketing app in the game. It's the best seats for the lowest prices guaranteed. And what I love about it as a procrastinator is prices drop as the event gets closer. And it's the lowest price guaranteed. And when you download the app by just going to the App Store and typing in Game Time, use that promo code GiantsChat. Promo code GiantsChat. And you're going to get $20 off your first purchase. So if tickets to maybe the next Giants game or the next Knicks game or a Yankees game or a concert or a theater event is $100, save yourself $20. Spend $80, buy the ticket. Promo code GiantsChat with the Game Time app. All that information's in the comments and description. Look, the #1 goal for the New York Giants this offseason should be this: fix the offensive line. Fix the offensive line. The Giants' offensive line is the worst in the National Football League. And I believe the best way to try to attack that problem is by adding other good players to the offensive line. And the Giants could potentially take the best offensive lineman in the draft in Joe Alt. That's what I would do. I also love the NFL pedigree, and I love the NFL DNA that he's got running through his veins. Joe Alt's dad, John Alt, was a 13-year NFL veteran. So he's going to know what it takes to play in this league. He's going to have the support system. He's going to have a dad that played there and could help him out from time to time. And I just like the fact that his dad was in the league. NFL DNA. I'm a big fan of that. Another reason I'm taking Joe Alt. I don't trust Evan Neal. I don't trust Evan Neal to stay healthy. I don't trust Evan Neal to be a good football player. I don't trust Evan Neal to be a serviceable football player right now in the National Football League. Why should I believe in him? The numbers have been terrible, and he hasn't been available. Sometimes the best ability is availability, and he's not. He's missed 14 games through 2 seasons in the NFL. Think about that. He only could have played in 34 regular season games in 2 years. He's missed 14 of them, and he played 13 last year. He's out for the year, and he may need off-season ankle surgery. I can't trust Evan Neal. He's hurt all the time, hasn't shown to be a good football player, and I can't depend on him. What has showed me through the first 2 years of his NFL career that says I can be a nice and serviceable right tackle in this league? I haven't seen it. He got worse from year 1 to year 2. 44 PFF grade rookie year. 39.8 the second year. 12 penalties in 2 years. Over 69 pressures allowed in just 14 games. And I guess that's 13 plus 7, 20 games played. He's allowed 9 sacks in 20 games played. And at the time of injury, he was ranked as the 62nd offensive tackle in the NFL by Pro Football Focus. 2 offensive tackles play on a team. There's 32 teams. That means he was the second worst starting offensive tackle in the National Football League after he was ranked as 57th in his rookie year. I don't want to be mean to Evan Neal. I'm judging you. I'm not even judging you for what you said about us dumb sheep Giants fans that should be flipping burgers somewhere. You haven't showed up. You haven't played well. You haven't been healthy. You're not dependable. Right tackle is a huge position. Giants need to get the best player there. I'm taking Joe Alt over Evan Neal because Evan Neal does not deserve or has not earned the right tackle spot on this team. He's had 2 seasons. He's blown both chances. What do you think? Should Evan Neal be the starting right tackle next season? Type Y for yes. Type N for no. I'm typing my N for no because if the Giants have him at the right tackle spot starting next year, they are going to be in a world of trouble. Could he turn it around and have a good career? Yeah. But if I'm Joe Schoen, am I betting my career as the Giants general manager on Evan Neal turning around in year 3? I'll tell you this should be your answer, Joe. Hell no. As always, I just want to say thank you and I appreciate you for tuning in. If you haven't yet, give me a follow over on Twitter at @MarshallGreen_. I see some people in the chat saying move him to guard. Yeah, take Joe Alt, move Evan Neal to guard, see if he can play there. If not, he's out of the league after year 3 and you don't pick up his 5th-year option. End of the day, final takeaway. If you don't learn anything else from this video, walk away with this. The Giants cannot have Evan Neal as the only investment at right tackle next year. Whether that means you draft Joe Alt, you draft someone in the 2nd round, you sign a veteran, you sign a swing tackle that can compete. You need to have somebody else that you could depend on at right tackle. We'll see you later. Go Big Blue. If Joe Alt is there at 5, I'm taking him. I'm taking him. I'm taking him. Abso-frickin-lutely. As Mike G comes in with a $50 super chat. Shout out to Mike G. Says, let's say it together. MG equals MVP. Mike G, you're the one that's the MVP, brother. You are the one that is MVP. We'll do the beer boot after the last mailbag, so I'm not just blasted out of my mind doing that. Everyone, can we just drop an MG in the chat? Can we get some MGs in the chat? Let's go. I didn't have my eyes on the chat that well during that video. What were the people saying about Joe Alt? Did they like the pick? Did they hate the pick?
I don't really have my eyes too much.
I mean, I don't understand how you can. I would say he's the betting favorite to be the pick
People
right
are
now.
talking Penix. I'm not taking Penix at 5.
What about you trade both 2nd-round picks and maybe a future 1st-round pick to trade up to 21 when Penix is on the board?
Penix? Yeah. I just don't know. I'm not a big believer in Penix.
Let me see what he does versus Texas.
Yeah.
Let me see how he plays versus Texas. I think he's a good quarterback. I can't give you my full evaluation yet. I got to see a little bit more. I don't love that wasn't good before Washington. Hey, sometimes you're a late bloomer and all that. So some people are saying it's got to be a QB, and I agree with you. But you can't reach on a QB. If you don't have a number 5 overall grade on Michael Penix and Daniels, Williams, and May are gone, you can't make that pick.
No.
That's how you get fired. Reaching for a quarterback is the number 1 way to get fired in the NFL as a GM. Bryce says Penix is injury prone. He has an injury history, says Micah Gibson.
It's also he's throwing the 2 dogs. And Washington runs that kind of typical West Coast offense. Like,
I'd be thrilled if we got Joe Alt. I would be thrilled.
Dog, dude.
I would be thrilled.
Also,
you have Andrew Thomas and Joe Alt, and Joe Alt is actually a good prospect instead of Evan Neal, and those are your bookend tackles for the next 10 years.
It's also, I think Joe Alt's like bust proof.
I think Joe Alt is bust proof as well.
Especially with his dad and everything. I didn't know that coming into this. That matters in my opinion. Because he knows. He's not going to be thrown off guard by the NFL.
He's a prodigy.
Yeah, he's a prodigy. I mean, he's a blue chip.
He's a blue chipper.
He's a blue chip. This draft is stacked in the top 10.
I would love to go Joe Alt. I would love to go Joe.
Give me Joe Alt, Bowers.
Yeah.
See, I'd take both those guys over Jaden Daniels. If I had a chance, if I'm still
Joe
there.
Alt, Jaden Daniels. You're taking Jaden Daniels? Oh, you're taking Joe Alt?
Yeah, I'd probably take Joe Alt. Just because I'm dude, could you imagine Daniel Jones? I understand, whatever your thoughts on Daniel Jones, but if you would get him let's just say somehow you're able to get a receiver in free agency. You're like, dude, you got 2 great tackles. See if John Michael Schmitz develops in year 2. You got a pretty good offensive line.
Can we get a proven guard next to John Michael Schmitz?
Yeah.
Make his life a little easier?
Yeah, that's awesome.
How about we get a veteran right next to him? And of course, we get a new offensive line coach.
I actually do agree with you. The number one thing for the Giants has to be the offensive line.
Has to be.
Because you can't evaluate.
I can't evaluate anybody. Especially with Tommy DeVito playing.
I know DJ was so bad, like when he played this year, but like
you kind of cornered yourself to him being the quarterback next year.
Like you kind of have
Especially when you played yourself out of the top 3 in the draft.
Yeah. Also, who says go get Shador the year after or something like that? Like there are going to be quarterbacks that come out after. I'm not sold besides the top 2 on anybody in this draft at the quarterback spot. So I wouldn't reach in the top 10 for one of these guys.
Let's say the first overall pick is Caleb Williams. You end up with the 4th pick. Patriots win a game down the stretch. They beat the Jets. You lose out. You're picking 4th. Caleb Williams goes first. Cardinals can't find a trade back. No one is just dying to get up. Or maybe you just trade. It's a lot easier to go from 4 to 2 than 5 to 2.
Yeah.
If you're at 4 or 5, you could trade up to 2 and go get Drake May. And I'd be in on that as well. I'd be in on trading up for Drake May because I think he is that guy. And if you fall in love with a quarterback, you do everything you can to go draft him.
Yeah.
It's going to be an interesting offseason. It absolutely is. Mike G, we got a beer boot after the show coming your way. Get your questions in, though. We're going to talk about NFL free agency and which guys the Giants should and should not bring back in a second. But I need you to get your questions in, just like Zach Attack, just like Patrick Clark. Hashtag Giants in the comment section. Just include that in your comment, and we'll pop it up on screen, and we will talk about it. All Super Chats will skip the line. Let's ride. Let's ride. Hashtag Giants or Super Chat down in the comment section. With the New York Giants officially eliminated from playoff contention following the loss of the Philadelphia Eagles, I wanted to kind of shift the focus of this channel to the offseason because this is a big offseason for the New York Football Giants. It's going to be the 3rd offseason for Brian Daboll as the Giants head coach and for Joe Schoen as the general manager, and that's the time the real evaluation starts. So before we look at other outside free agency targets, trade targets, draft targets, let's focus what the Giants have on this roster, and let's talk about the 22 free agents that they are going to have to make decisions on. And there are some big-time players on this list. Guys like Adoree Jackson, Saquon Barkley, A'Shawn Robinson's had a good year. They'll have to make a difficult decision on Raheem Nunez-Roches and his contract. Xavier McKinney, Jihad Ward has been there the last 2 years. A legend in Giants world, Sterling Shepard. You got Ben Bredesen. You have some tough decisions to make. So in today's video, we're going to roll through all 22 players that are free agents for the Giants, and I'm going to tell you which guys should stay and which guys should go. The biggest decision the Giants are going to have to make is on Saquon Barkley and what they're going to do for him. If I am Joe Schoen, I am franchise tagging Saquon Barkley. I think Saquon is an elite player in this league, but I think he plays the least important position in this league. He plays a position where the success is determined on the success of the offensive line. No matter how good Saquon Barkley is, if he has nowhere to run, he will not be successful. And look, the facts are the facts. 99% of running backs through the history of the NFL get worse as they get older. And Saquon Barkley is still getting older. He's going to be 27 in the offseason. That means he's 2 seasons away from being, maybe 2 or 3, I'm bad at math, 3 seasons away from being 30. And as good as he is, I hate to say this because it feels like I'm being a hater when I say this. Saquon Barkley has proven one thing throughout his career, outside of being great. He's an injury-prone running back. Missed 3 or 4 more games this year due to a high ankle sprain. I'm not paying a running back, no matter how good he is, that is 27 years old, a long, guaranteed contract. I'd franchise tag him this year, and this may sound effed up too. If he played good again, I'd franchise tag him again. What would you do, though? I want to hear from you. I'm franchise tagging Saquon Barkley for $12 million. What about you? What about you? Type R for re-sign. That means you're going to give him multi-years with guaranteed money greater than just 1 season. Are you going to franchise tag him? Type F. Or if you want to tag and trade him, type T for trade. I want to hear from you. Another big decision the Giants are going to have to make is on veteran cornerback Adoree Jackson. Signed that 3-year, $39 million dollar deal with the Giants a couple of seasons ago. He said to Ryan Dunleavy, that a Giants insider, that he wants to return to the Giants. For me, I'm only giving him a 1-year deal. If Adoree Jackson wants to come back on a 1-year, $8, $9, $10 million deal, sure, I'm in. But I'm not giving him multi-years, and I'm not giving him a lot of guaranteed money. He's had some good games. He's had some bad games. 1-year deal with a little bit of prove-it money, or you're going to let him walk. Tyrod Taylor, the backup quarterback. I'm going to let Tyrod Taylor walk. I think going forward, the Giants need to have a more reliable quarterback at the backup position. And I don't mean play, because I think when Tyrod Taylor plays, he's one of the best backups in this league. But he misses too much time. He's continuously hurt, whether that be his fault or unfortunate injuries, which have been the story of his career. I would like a younger, cheaper, more durable option at that backup quarterback. Isaiah Simmons. I'm going to re-sign Isaiah Simmons. I'm not going to break the bank for him. I'd give him 2 years, $7 million, 3 years, $10 million. Low salary, but I think he's a good player. And I think he's getting better and better as the season goes on. He's athletic. I like his versatility. And I think he's a good fit with Wink Martindale. But I'm not so sure Wink will be the DC here, so maybe you don't even factor that into your decision-making unless he is. I think Simmons is a good player. I'm not going to break the bank for him, but I would re-sign him. A'Shaun Robinson. I'd bring him back. I have been thoroughly impressed with what A'Shaun Robinson has done at that defensive tackle position. I believe he's one of the best run stoppers in this league, and you really haven't noticed much of a difference between him and Leonard Williams. You're not getting the pass rush that the big cat used to bring you, number 99 for the Giants, Leonard Williams. But A'Shaun Robinson is a good rotational DT, and if he is your third defensive tackle, first DT off the bench, you're going to be pretty good in that room. Paris Campbell will be a free agent, and he will not be back with the Giants. He has been a healthy scratch the past couple of weeks, and it sucks because I do believe in the player Paris Campbell. The film for him with Indianapolis was good. Had some big-time plays. Just didn't work out for the Giants for whatever reason. Look, no one on the Giants offense has looked that good this year. They're last in almost every statistical category across the league. So I think Paris Campbell is one and done with the Giants. I would let him walk. This one is a little bit interesting. Rakeem Nunez-Roches. He was signed by the Giants on day one of NFL free agency. And technically, he's not a free agent. He just has a potential out. The Giants could opt out of Rakeem Nunez-Roches' contract after this season, which would make his contract 1 year, $5.5 million, and he would carry a $2.8 million dead cap hit. Or you could just keep him and have a $2.8 million dead cap hit. I would keep him. I would keep Nacho. I like him and A'Shaun Robinson as my two backup interior defensive linemen. I don't think he's a world beater. I don't think he's a great player, but I think he's a serviceable player, and I like the mindset he has, former Super Bowl champion. I'd bring Nacho back. This will be another very big decision that Joe Schoen is going to have to make this offseason. What is he going to do with a guy like Xavier McKinney? I think McKinney's a good player. I don't think he's a great player. And I have a feeling he's going to want great player money, and I'm not paying him great money. I'm keeping him for the right price. I'll tell you this much. These are the highest paid safeties in the National Football League, the top 10 guys. I'm not even paying him half that much money. I'd give you $7 million, and that's it. How much better is he than a guy like Julian Love? Julian Love has struggled in Seattle, but he started to turn on as the season goes on. I think Xavier McKinney is good. I don't think Xavier McKinney is great. Pro Football Focus likes Xavier McKinney, and maybe just because he's a safety, I don't notice some of the things he does unless when I watch film, he doesn't pop off the screen. He's not an elite playmaker by any means, and he even against the Eagles, he couldn't guard Dallas Goedert in one-on-one situations. Scott's a good player, so that's a tough ask, but if I'm going to pay a safety a lot of money, I need him to be better than Xavier McKinney. I like him. I don't love him. I bring him back for the right price. How about like 3 years, $22 million, $7 million a year? That's the type of contract I would give him. I know there's a lot of X-Man believers in the Giants fans, and I agree why. I see why. Let me know what you think. Should they re-sign him? Why for yes and for no? Hottie, Jihad Ward will be a free agent, and I'd like to re-sign him. I think he's a good locker room guy. I think he's a leader. I think he's a captain. I think he exemplifies what it means to be a New York Football Giant. Re-sign him. 1 year, veteran minimum. Not anything more, though. Matt Breida, backup running back for the Giants the last 2 years. Let him walk. I respect Breida. I think he's a good player. I think he is a fine man. I don't need him on my football team for anything more than the veteran minimum, so I would let him walk in free agency. I think the Giants should draft another running back this year and have him and Eric Gray be the backups to Barkley after you franchise tag him. Long snapper Casey Kreider, bring him on back. Bring back the long snapper. He's always got a spot on my team. This one hurts a little bit for me. I'm a huge fan of Sterling Shepard. I really, really am. Longest tenured Giant on this team. I know a lot of people don't like Sterling Shepard, and I understand why. The injuries have been maddening. They've been frustrating. I just think it's time. They gave him a one-year deal this year. Kind of out of sympathy, kind of out of respect, because I respect the hell out of him for how hard he works to come back from injuries. The juice is gone. The juice is gone. If you're not going to play him this year, why are you bringing him back next year? I think Sterling Shepard may retire after this year, and if he doesn't, he will be playing somewhere else and not Big Blue. Gerard Davis, probably a name you haven't heard in a while. He got hurt in the preseason for the Giants. He's a free agent. I would let him walk. I like what you have in Micah McFadden. I love Bobby Okereke, and I would place a higher priority on bringing a guy back like Isaiah Simmons over Gerard Davis. Matt Pear, offensive tackle. See, he can go. Has not worked out. Third-round pick out of UConn a couple of years ago. He's always hurt. He's no good. Get somebody else. Let him walk. We got more players to talk about, but first, I got to tell you guys about our proud sponsor of today's show, PrizePicks. Go to prizepicks.com/CLNS. Use the promo code CLNS, and PrizePicks will match your initial deposit up to $100. Put $100 in your account. They'll match it. You'll have $200 to play with. PrizePicks is the #1 daily fantasy sports app in North America. And with a lot of NFL fantasy seasons coming to a close with Championship Sunday around the corner, no better time to start playing daily fantasy football than now. This is my lineup for this weekend's games. All you do is select more or less on the projected stat line for a player. I'm going with passing yards for quarterbacks this week. I think Matt Stafford is going to have a big game versus the Giants. I think Jordan Love is going to beat the Vikings and have a good game of his own. I'm going with more on both their yards. You could roll with my picks, fade my picks, but if you're going to play daily fantasy sports, I ask that you do it with PrizePicks and you use the promo code prizepicks.com/CLNS. All right, next player, J.C. Hassenauer, the center for the Giants, interior offensive lineman, been hurt throughout the year. I'm going to let him walk. Darnay Holmes, slot corner for the Giants, who took a pay cut to remain for the team. He just doesn't play enough, and I would rather have we know who Darnay Holmes is. Loves to hold, can make some big-time plays, but I'm not giving him anything more than the veteran minimum, and I'd rather just draft a rookie or sign another guy that's maybe younger and has a little bit more potential to replace him. Ben Bredesen, do-it-all offensive lineman. Can play guard, can play center, can play guard. I'd bring him back on a one-year veteran minimum to be a backup. I don't want Ben Bredesen starting next year. If Ben Bredesen is starting on the offensive line, the Giants failed in the offseason. It's that simple. But I think he's a good guy to have on the bench and come off the pine because he could play guard and he could play center. He's versatile. I'd bring him back as a 6th or 7th offensive lineman on this team. Wyatt Davis, hurt, has not played in a long time. He can go. Shane Lemieux, former pick by the Giants out of Oregon. Injuries have derailed his career, and now he's not an NFL lineman anymore. He will not be back with the Giants. Nick McLeod, I like him a lot. He replaced Deonte Banks when he got hurt against the Eagles this past week. He could play corner on the outside. He could play slot, and he could play safety. Not a star, not a superstar. I would say a below average to an average player, but I like the versatility, and I'd bring him back. I think he's a good locker room guy. I think he's a good fit. Cam Brown, the special team specialist. 1-year veteran minimum. I'd bring him back. I thought Cam Brown's made some good plays on special teams this year. He's an intense gunner. He gets downfield. He's aggressive. He makes big-time plays. He's not afraid to hit somebody. What about that clothesline a couple of weeks ago? That was freaking sick. For that alone, I'd bring him back. But I do like having a special teams guy like him on this roster. And since I'm bringing Cam Brown back, I'm going to let Carter Coughlin walk. I respect Coughlin's game. I think he's a grinder. I think he's someone that plays hard. I think he's just a football dude. But it's a numbers game, and I would let him walk. I'd bring him back maybe in the sense of as a top 90 guy, and you're seeing if he can make the roster, but nothing more than a veteran minimum if I do. So we went through all the free agents the Giants will have to make a decision on. I told you who I'd bring back, what I would do, and so forth. So 2 other moves that I think that will be on the plate for Joe Schoen to make a decision on. Start with Mark Lewinsky. Mark Lewinsky could be cut this year by the Giants, and it would save New York $5.7 million. Mark, I appreciate you for your 2 years of service for the New York Giants, but your Giants career should 100% be done. He's a backup at this point. You don't pay backup offensive linemen over $7 million. Save the 5.7 and just push it to somebody else because Lewinsky is not that good of a football player. This one is a really tough decision for me. I've been saying for 2 years the Giants should cut Darius Slayton, and he's made me look really stupid, and I am happy that he has done that because that means if he plays good, the Giants are going to benefit. I think for the third year in a row, Darius Slayton is going to end maybe in the fourth year in a row. He's going to end the season as the Giants' #1 wide receiver. Cutting Darius Slayton would save the Giants $6 million. $6 million. I'd keep him. I would keep him. I would keep him. I've been saying cut, but I'd keep him now. What do you think? Type K for keep, type C for cut. I see someone in the chat says Justin Pugh. I guess I missed Justin Pugh on that list. That's on me. I'm not bringing Justin Pugh back, and I think he is probably going to retire at this point. Look, you can always find a veteran like that in week 2 or week 3 of the regular season. As always, I just want to say thank you, and I appreciate you guys for tuning in to today's show. If you haven't yet, give me a follow on Twitter at @MarshallGreen_, and we could talk more Giants football over there. I go back and forth. On Darius Slayton all the time. Like, can you get a better receiver than Slayton for $6 million?
I don't think so, but I think it'll almost be like an addition by subtraction. Like, you like guys like Hyatt and Robinson. Just give them,
Who's better? Hodgins or Slayton?
Slayton. I mean, Slayton's better. But
yeah, he is.
If you bring in a guy,
he can't be your #1 receiver next year.
Well, let's just say if you take that $6 million, toss it to T. Higgins, you're cutting him in heartbeat.
Exactly.
Like, because then you have a
100%
second
agree.
and third guy who. But if they don't have a move to go get a #1, you kind of have to keep him.
I would love to have him back. I've been very critical of him. I think he's a limited route runner. I think his hands are questionable. He doesn't make contested catches. But, man, he's shown the ability to make some big splash plays.
Yeah, he's great.
70-yard touchdown. He's explosive. He's fast. He can run the over routes that Dable likes to call.
But it's also, I think, Hyatt, Robinson.
I kind of like to see Hyatt to do that stuff.
Yeah.
I'd keep him. But he can't be your #1 receiver going into the year.
What if they're saying, if we cut Slayton, we'll get Robert Hunt?
Yeah.
I would probably do that too, even if you don't get a #1 wide receiver.
If you have somewhere better to spend the money, yes.
If I told you the Giants offense next season, if you cut Slayton, your 3 receivers are Hodgins, Robinson, and Hyatt, and you got Robert Hunt and you drafted Joe Alt.
Yeah.
I think I would take that in comparison to not having Hunt and and then having 4 receivers.
It's going to be interesting. I think he's a good player. I think you could find other players for $6 million. They're going to have some tough decisions to make.
Definitely do.
McKinney will be tough. Barkley will be tough. Slayton will be tough. Adoree Jackson will be tough. I think he's good as gone. Carl says Ayuk #1. Yeah, I'd do some nasty things for Brandon Ayuk to be a Giant. I think Brandon Ayuk is the most underrated receiver in the NFL. And earlier today, I said Mike Evans and Amari Cooper are up there. Brandon Ayuk is a top 10 receiver in this league. I truly believe that. One of the best route runners at the short, intermediate, and deep. Good with the ball in his hands. He's a good player. All right, we're going to close out today's show with a mailbag. I want to answer questions from you guys, so get your questions in. Seeps, do we have any questions in the queue?
Oh, we got questions.
We got some questions in the queue. Shout out to you guys. Last chance to get yours in. If you want to guarantee your super chat, if you want to guarantee your comment question gets on the show, you got to send in a super chat. I don't make the rules. I just follow them so I can keep my job and a roof over my head. So hashtag Giants. You run the risk of Seeps not choosing your question, or guarantee it by using a super chat. Here we go. Yo, what's going on, everybody? You're watching Giants Now by Chat Sports. I'm your host, Marshall Green. We're going to get into a mailbag on today's video, which means we're answering questions from subscribers. So if we didn't get to your question today, that means A, you probably didn't tune into our live show on Monday, which you should every Monday around 5 p.m. Eastern Time, and hit the dang sub button. We're trying to get to 42,000 subscribers here on the channel. Fastest growing Giants channel. Hit that sub button. Free content every day. My guy Mike G, what's up, brother? MG, hope you had a good holiday. Hope everybody had a good holiday season. If the Giants are at 5th overall, who do you want them to take? Quarterback, wide receiver, or O-line? That's a yes for me. I think it depends on who is on the board, right, when it comes to the 5th overall pick. Like, is Jane Daniels on the board? Is he still there? Is a guy like Joe Alt still on the board? Is Malik Neighbors the best player available? I'm really starting to fall in love with the idea of drafting Joe Alt. Because for as long as I can remember, for 10 plus years, the Giants offensive line has been the hamstring of this team, the Achilles heel, rather, of this team. So you have to improve there. I'm really leaning towards Joe Alt being my go-to pick for Big Blue. I'd be cool with wide receiver. Jane Daniels there and Joe Alt is still there. That's a tough decision for me to make because I do believe that Jane Daniels is going to be good, and I believe the Giants need a new quarterback. It's going to be a tough decision for Joe Schoen to make. Razor Shockwave, what's up, family? Hey, Marsh, hope you had a good holiday. I hope you had a good holiday, man. Says, what do you think about getting Malik Neighbors at the first round and getting a guy like J.J. McCarthy in round 2? This has been proven wrong multiple times by other teams in this league. But for me, I'm of the mindset that if I don't love a quarterback enough to take them in round 1, I don't necessarily want to draft him. Because you didn't believe in him in round 1. And I heard Nick Wright say this a couple of years ago. And whatever you think of Nick Wright, that's totally fair. You know how some people say, like, man, J.J. McCarthy would be a reach at 10, but it'd be a steal in the second round. How does that make any sense? He's either good or he's not. Like, if he's bad at 2, if he's bad and you pick him in the second round, yes, the blow is a little bit worse, but it was still a bad pick. Like, I've never understood that. Oh, he's not good enough to go top 10, but a steal in the third round. Like, I've never understood that thought process. I'm of the opinion that if you don't love a quarterback, you don't take him. And if you take a quarterback in the second round, that means you didn't necessarily love him unless you're just playing the numbers game. I know J.J. McCarthy has a lot of believers in him. For me, I want a blue chip. I want a guy that could be an MVP of the league. I don't know if J.J. McCarthy is that guy. I believe in Malik Neighbors. I think he's going to be a really good player. Giants need more playmakers, and that's exactly what he is. Mike G back again. I hope that made sense. The first round pick and third round pick. Maybe I was just talking out of my butt a little bit. Mike G, what's up? Says, do you buy into Brock Bowers being a good fit? I know Waller isn't young, but still paying him a lot. Is tight end weapon worth it over needs? Well, I would say that weapons is at the top of needs for the New York Football Giants. And I think Brock Bowers is one of the best weapons, if not the best weapon, outside of Marvin Harrison Jr. in this draft class. I'm not letting a 32, 33-year-old Darren Waller stop me from drafting the next best tight end in the NFL. I probably wouldn't take him top 5, but let's say the Giants somehow beat the Rams or the Giants somehow beat the Eagles and you fall out of the top 5 and Brock Bowers is the best playmaker on the board and Joe Alt's gone, Olu Fashanu's gone, the top 3 quarterbacks are gone. Yeah, I'd be totally fine with drafting a guy like Brock Bowers. Who do you want the Giants to draft? You guys always ask me, who do I want the Giants to draft? I like listening to you guys. I like reading your comments. I go down and read the comments of every video. So let me know, who do you want the Giants to draft? Give me a name down in the comment section. Ryan Brogan, what's up, family? Yo, at the hospital having my baby. Don't worry, she's not giving birth at the moment. We'll be here a couple days. Congrats and prayers for a healthy baby, my man. That is awesome. Still got to support the OGMG, but can you explain how we can get to the best pick? You need to lose these next 2 games. And then somehow pray that the New England Patriots win their next 2, and somehow pray that the Washington Commanders win their next 2, and somehow pray that the Cardinals can win their next 2 games. I believe the Giants are going to end up picking number 4 in the NFL draft. I have the New England Patriots beating the New York Jets in that last game of the season. So I believe the Giants will then move up because they have the better strength of schedule. I think the Giants are going to pick 4, and I'm pretty confident that they will pick top 5. ESPN says they have a 78% chance to get inside that top 5. I am picking 4th. Hopefully the Commanders could beat the Cowboys or Eagles. Is it Cowboys, Eagles? They have 2 really tough games coming up. We're going to get to more questions coming up in a second, but first, I'm asking all the real ones to help me out and support the sponsor that sponsors our show. That's big time for us, and it's Prize Picks. Prize Picks is my favorite sponsor we have because I love playing daily fantasy sports, and I love winning money off of my IQ when it comes to football. Prize Picks is daily fantasy sports made easy. All you do is select 2 or more players, and you just choose more or less on the stat line that Prize Picks has projected. Matthew Stafford and Jordan Love are the 2 players that I've decided to go with this Sunday. And I'm just going to go passing yards. QB's 2-man lineup. I'm I'm going to go with more passing yards for Stafford versus the Giants and more passing yards for Love versus the Vikes. You can roll with my picks or fade my picks, but just do it at this link right here, prizepicks.com/CNS, and use that promo code CLNS. You're going to get a $100 deposit match. Nope. What up, fam? So what you taking, Marshall? Mike Kafka and Wink. Mike Kafka and a new DC, Wink and a new DC, new OC and DC. I don't think either will be back. You can hear, Wink Martindale, I couldn't hear because obviously I called the play-by-play, but I went back and watched. Pam Oliver reported that Wink Martindale has been telling the defense that not only do you have to outplay the opposing team's offense, you also have to outplay the opposing team's defense. That is a direct slap in the face to your offense. And let's call a spade. 3rd and 20. Game on the line. You allowed Jalen Hurts to complete a 27-yard stop route to A.J. Brown. I think Wink's a good DC. I don't think he's a great DC anymore. And I think the relationship between him and Brian Dable is fractured. And I think that you may see a guy like Leslie Frazier at that defensive coordinator position for the Giants. I think Mike Kafka's gone. I hope he's gone at this point. I haven't said that, but I am now officially saying it. I'm over Mike Kafka. 3 fourth-down conversions yesterday. Handoff up the middle to Saquon Barkley. 4th fourth-down conversion. You throw a shoot route to Wan'Dale Robinson. I know you're crippled with the offensive line and the quarterbacks. How about the guy you hired to be the head coach that got this job because of what he did as the offensive coordinator? Call the plays. Because all the good coaches in this league, they call plays. It's time for Brian Dable to do that. Mechanic didn't show up for work today, Brian. It's your time to go fix that oil. It's your time to go do it. Take ownership into your own hands. Because right now, your back's against the wall. Steven Lopez, what up? Why has Hodgins' playing time decreased so much this year? Great question. I'm a believer in Isaiah Hodgins. I don't think he's a 1. I don't necessarily think he's a 2. But I think he's a player that should be getting reps, and I think he's a good red zone wide receiver. I think he's proven that through his time with the Giants. They've been playing Hyatt more. They've been playing Wan'Dale Robinson more. They've been playing Slayton more. Giants don't run in a lot of offensive plays. They lead the league in 3 and outs. Not a lot of offensive plays means not a lot of snaps for other players. My best answer I can give you is this offense stinks, Steven, and they don't run a lot of plays. And I don't really know how else to sum it up. NYG season, what's up, brother? What about Gabe Davis? Seems like a guy who's behind a door in Buffalo. Could they unlock his skill set? I'm not the biggest Gabe Davis fan. I think he's a good player. I think he's Isaiah Hodgins. Maybe a little bit better. Obviously, there's the relationship there with Brian Dable and Joe Schoen. But no, I think there's other spots and other ways you can improve this wide receiver position. I'm going to pass on Gabe Davis. Rob Simpy, my man. What up, brother? Sadly, Marsh, I don't watch college football. Nothing wrong with that. I don't think college football is that good of a product. Built, no, we need. I wish I knew what that said. But no, we need another Q. Okay, but no, we need another QB. But is it a reach currently? But we still need depth at wide receiver and O-line, help at the cornerback. What is your biggest need after QB? Offensive line. And I may even put the need for offensive line in front of quarterback. I do believe that the better situation that you can have a rookie quarter, and that this isn't a world-breaking take. The better team and the better situation you can bring a rookie quarterback in, I believe it's going to heighten the likelihood that they're good, right? But then on the other hand, you see a guy like Joe Burrow go to a terrible Cincinnati Bengals team, and in year 2, they're in the Super Bowl. If I had to rank the needs for this team, offensive line, quarterback, then you go down, playmakers, and then another edge rusher. That's for me. Look, if you love a quarterback and the guy you love is there at 5 or you want to trade up to 2, I'm going to be happy they do it. If they go out and draft Olu Fashanu or they draft Joe Alt, I'm going to love it. If they trade down and take Brock Bowers, I'm going to love it. Just get another good football player. This team's deprived of those guys right now. Saquon Barkley is him. He's him. Says, can we please trade for Justin Fields? We want to trade for Justin Fields. No. Look, I know some people are huge Justin Fields fans. I've never been a believer. And why do I want another team's trash? If the Bears are and I don't trust the Bears front office, so maybe that's not the best example, but no, I don't want Justin Fields. And he'll be entering, is this his second or third year? So you would have to make a decision on his fifth-year option this offseason. And he's probably going to want a new contract after year 4. No. Reset the quarterback contract. Reset the quarterback contract. What does that mean? Take a new quarterback at the draft, and he's cost-controlled for 5 seasons. Because you are being crippled right now because of Daniel Jones and his contract. I'm out on trading for Justin Fields. No, thank you. No, thank you. All righty. Appreciate you guys for tuning in. If you haven't yet, subscribe to the channel, youtube.com/NYGiantsTV. Love doing these mailbags. If you want more of them, subscribe to the channel. As Tutos, my man says, massive salutes to Big Boss Marshy and Lil CP. Little CP has me dead. It's never a good thing when you have a little bit of a CP. You know what I'm talking about. And all diehard Giants fans in America, happy holidays. And please kick all lambs and sheep losers hard and fast. Can we get the Tutos in the chat? Can we get the Tutos in the chat? My man is an absolute legend. Absolute legend. Nope. I see you're saying you want Wink for DC, and I think Wink has done a good enough job to remain as the Giants DC, but in life, in work, in football, it's about relationships. And if Brian Dable and Wink Martindale don't like each other, and Wink feels like he's kind of being undercut by Brian Dable, and Brian Dable's coaching for his life, I don't know if he's going to bring back Wink Martindale. It's been reported by some really credible people that the relationship is fractured. Jay Glazer, in my opinion, the most credible reporter in the NFL, pretty much said just that. And he doesn't make stuff up. PSN. What's up, brother? PSN. I'm sorry about your Tommy DeVito. Do we think it was the right decision to bench Tommy DeVito? Should Tommy DeVito have been benched yesterday? Type Y for yes, type N for no. I want to hear from you guys. Should the Giants have benched DeVito? Y for yes, N for no. Almighty Finesse, my man, what's up? I haven't seen your name in the chat in a while. What's up, man? I don't know if you've been here. I'm bad. Doug says yes, it was. Brady says no. Nope says, did it matter? Yeah, it did matter because the Giants outscored the Eagles 22-13 in the second half. So, yeah, it did matter. PSN says, working through the holidays, you are dedicated, man. Hey, that's what I signed up for. We were live yesterday on the channel breaking down the Giants game. Hope you had a good Christmas if you celebrate. Hope you had a good holiday season, whatever you celebrate. PSN says that they needed to change the energy. I agree. Only one true score from Tyrod. Well, they scored 22 points. So, how is that possible? I understand they had the fumble and Barkley scored it after that, but I don't know. I'm not going to argue with you. Tyrod Taylor is so much better than Tommy DeVito. And I don't mean to be disrespectful with it. I'm not trying to be disrespectful with it. It is not even close who is the better quarterback. It's really not close. And it's unfair to players like Wan'Dale Robinson and Jalen Hyatt and any receiver on this team that is trying to play for their career in the National Football League that they had to have Tommy DeVito play the last 2 games. There was the pick six. That is true. I don't know, Seeps. I know we like to have fun, and we leaned into the DeVito mania a little bit. But at this point in the season, it's about evaluation for me.
Definitely.
Who's back next year?
Yeah.
And I think that DeVito has done enough to show that he should be a part of the 90-man roster yet next year and be on the Giants throughout the preseason and give it an opportunity if he could be that backup quarterback. But I still think you need to add another quarterback, whether it be in the draft or a veteran, to be the real backup if Daniel Jones is that guy. I just will never believe that Brian Dable, and maybe this is me kind of hoping, I hope that Brian Dable did not actually believe that Tommy DeVito gave the Giants the best chance to win over Tyrod Taylor. Because if he did, that means that we are in a world of trouble as Giants fans. Maybe the key word he said was earned it. He earned it. Maybe they gave him those games and said, prove to us that you could be a potential backup quarterback. PSN thinks another team will sign DeVito. I don't think DeVito would go anywhere else unless the Giants did not give him a contract. I think if the Giants gave DeVito a contract and another team, let's say the Giants offered DeVito, well, one, he's under contract for 3 years. He can't leave. Giants have the option to pick his contract up. I think DeVito would take less to play with the Giants. He already did that after coming out of Syracuse. Jay Sports Card says, what exactly is a couplet? I don't know what a couplet is, but a cutlet is a thin piece of chicken. Thin and crispy. It
was fun.
It was fun. We needed it.
Nobody actually thought this was going to be the guy for 5 years.
I hope not, but there absolutely was. Big Moo, what's up? Said, when will we see Eric Gray running the ball? I would like to see Eric Gray these last 2 weeks. Why are we adding hits to Saquon Barkley? Chase Sr., our Eagles host, said Saquon Barkley looked really good yesterday. And when he said that, I was like, did he? Did Saquon look good yesterday? I don't even remember. There's nowhere to run, so it's like I can't even evaluate him.
I feel like he gets the most out of whatever he's given, though.
What were the stats? I don't even remember.
Hey, maybe I could look up my favorite old stat, rushing yards over expected.
I think it's a good one for this one, because what is expected behind this O-line?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Where do they measure that stat? Saquon Barkley yesterday, 23 carries, 80 yards. Well, that was a decent game. I didn't walk away from that game saying, holy shit, Saquon played well. That's just me. Yeah, I don't think he did, Micah, either. I don't think so either. Happy holidays to you, my man. Happy holidays to you. Thanks for tuning in. I think Saquon Barkley is still really, really good. You can't. I'd give him this. I offer him two contracts. I'd go 2 years. 2 years, $25 million, with 18 guaranteed. That's a year and a half guaranteed. I'd offer him 2 years, $25 million, 18 and a half guaranteed, or I'd franchise tag him. Those are my offers. 2 years, 25. That's 12 and a half. That's the franchise tag this year, and I'll give you a year and a half guaranteed. But I'm not doing anything more than that. I can't. Chicken cutlets are a chicken breast cut in half, then beat with a meat hammer, real thin, and then breaded and fried. Look at frickin' Rob Simpy coming in. Why would Saquon Barkley play under a franchise tag again? Because it would guarantee him $12.5 million. That's a lot of money. What is he not going to do? Get paid $12.5 million?
And plus, he can't sit out at the stage of his career.
Yeah, great point. You're going to sit out at 27 as a running back? Who's giving you a big contract at 28 after a year off?
It's all like these running backs, dude. I'm shocked the NFLPA hasn't tried to do something. But then again,
is it unfair? No. Does it suck for them? Yes. But Seeps, think about it like this. Who are the best teams in the NFL right now?
Niners.
Niners, they pay their running back.
Yeah.
Let's just stay in the NFC. Eagles are one of the best teams.
Yeah.
They don't pay any running back. They actually let Miles Sanders go after he had his best year of his career. Cowboys, they franchise tagged Tony Pollard, and I bet they regret it.
Yep.
Let's go to the AFC. Chiefs don't pay a running back. Ravens don't pay a running back. Bills don't pay a running back. And I'm not saying that is the only formula that works, but $2 years, $25 million. I go to Saquon Barkley. I got two offers: 2 years, $25 million, 19 guaranteed, or franchise tag. That's all I'm giving him.
Right now, he's 7th in the league in rushing yards over expected. He's getting a half a yard more on each carry. He's gotten 107 more
I wonder how, like,
yards this year. McCaffrey's number 1. It's not even close.
I wonder if that stat is, like, a little bit skewed in a sense. Because, like, what is expected behind that O-line?
Yeah.
So it's like if you make anything I respect it. Saquon Barkley is great. No one's saying he's not.
Like, if you get met in the backfield and, like, a dude's about to wrap you up and make a miss and you go get 4 more.
Like you turn a -5 into a -2.
That's – yeah.
I think Barkley's good. I think he's borderline great. But I'm franchise tagging him, and we're off from 2 for 25 and 19 guaranteed. That's it. Not anything more, not anything less.
Oh, James Conner's up there, too. He's 6th.
You would give Saquon Barkley the money Jonathan Taylor got? What's Jonathan Taylor done this year besides get hurt?
Nothing. Listen, I would never pay a running back.
I'm not.
I think that would just be like fundamentally, if I was a GM, unless
it's against my thought process.
Unless you are stacked as a roster and you're like the Niners.
Like the Niners, and you have a cheap young QB.
Give me McCaffrey. I'll go trade for McCaffrey.
Would you do 2 for 25, 19 guaranteed to Barkley? Or a franchise tag for 12.5?
Just draft a dude in the second. Like,
Saquon Barkley says it's disrespectful to give him a long-term deal. It's just business. It ain't disrespectful. Just business. Just business.
I wouldn't give him I wouldn't give him more than a 1-year deal.
That's my thing.
Like,
I would do 2 years, 25 to make him happy.
You could get out
if that's what he wants.
Yeah.
1.5 years guaranteed.
It's just also so
I'm with
tough.
Micah. Keep franchise tagging him. It sucks. I feel bad for him.
And
But it's not like you're making nothing. You're making $12.5 million.
And it's also like, how many more wins is Saquon adding you? Like, that's the thing. Like, I feel like fans, like, since running back, it's the guys we play in fantasy football. It's normally like you can see they're
the coolest kid in school.
Coolest kid, like, they're the most fun, like, similar to receivers, obviously, but I don't know, man.
Crazy. All righty. Since my guy MG sent in a $50 super chat, I'm going to knock down this beer boot. The Bronx boy in the building. What up, brother?
What up, BB? My man. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, Saquon's a good running back. See, what is this stat? 8 in the box percentage. Wow. See, this is all so interesting. I don't know. It actually says, fun fact, Alvin Kamara is the worst running back in the NFL, according to rushing yards over expected. Then Rashard White, Kareem Hunt, Josh Jacobs is terrible, apparently. I knew Alexander Madison would be up there. He stinks.
Woo!
That's a pretty good time. Like, also, another example. The Rams. Their dude, Kyren Williams. He's
Who?
a dog. Kyren Williams.
Exactly. Who?
Yeah, exactly. He's second in the
Who
league
is the
in
Ravens' number 1 running back?
Gus, I don't even know. Like, and they have a great running game.
James Cook, drafted in what, round 3?
I think 2.
Coming on.
Like, look at the top backs in rushing this year. Kyren Williams, who,
I'm hurting.
he's not like, he's a good running back, but it's not like he's unreal. Mostert, James Cook, DeAndre Swift, who the Eagles just traded for, David Montgomery, Pollard. Like, and then you got rookies, Bijan, Gibbs, Pacheco on his rookie deal. Like, all the dudes that got paid besides McCaffrey are not doing well. And Derrick Henry's still up there, but that's Derrick Henry and McCaffrey are, again, it's different.
You don't eat icing by itself unless you're on a list.
And it's like, honestly, I would compare running backs. They're almost like the sprinkles, dude.
Not even the icing?
I don't even know if there's icing. Like, I think the icing is kind of like the receivers. Like, you need icing to have a good cake, like just to win a Super Bowl. I think you need receivers to win a Super Bowl. I don't think you need a running back. When was name the last great running back to win a Super Bowl?
Marshawn Lynch? Is there one after that?
Probably it. Like, Derrick Henry almost went on that run that 1 year.
Got to be Marshawn Lynch, right?
It's got to be beast mode.
Leonard Fournette had a good playoffs 1 year when the Bucs won it, right?
Yeah, but he was also not on.
Yeah, low paid.
He was running behind a great offensive line. Oh, remember that one year the Rams picked up C.J. Anderson? 2 weeks before the
Fat
playoffs?
CJ.
And he was running for 100 yards a game?
All of the days one says, oh, wow, during the week, yeah. I love this show. That was only on Sundays. No. Free Giants content every single day. That's why you subscribe. We go live on Monday, and we got videos the rest of the week for you, and we're live on game day. Oh, I needed that. I'm back. All righty, we're out of here. Love you guys. Ty Man, the Buckeyes in the building. Let's ride. Let's frickin' go. Love you guys. Hey, great audience today. Almost 2,000 people turned in. We were hanging around over 200 live pretty much the entire time. Shout out to Rob Simpy, Tuto, Mike G, Rob Simpy, Let's Go Giants, Razor Shockwave, Mike G, Parker Walters, Razor Shockwave, Raging Bull, and Mike G. Everyone that's super chatted, everybody that subscribed, everybody that commented, everybody that showed love, we love you. We appreciate it. We'll see you. Go Big